Welcome to Modern Musings, conversations with the maiden, mother, and crone, looking at ourselves and the world through the lens of the 21st century. Hello and welcome back. I'm your hostess, Kristen, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Amber and Cindy.
Hello.
Hello.
We're glad to have you here today. Our topic today is mom hacks and laundry hacks. So I guess those are kind of mom hacks too in some sense, but everybody has to do laundry, right? So you don't have to be a mom to use the mom hacks. It's just, I think over time we all find that our moms have like those tips and tricks. I remember moving out and calling my mom, like, how do I wash this? Actually, I remember my friends asking my mom all of those questions.
Yeah, you already knew how to wash those things.
Yeah, but I remember, back when Facebook, opened up to the general public, and I remember, my mom was one of the first moms on there, and I remember all of my friends asking my mom, like, how to wash this laundry, how to get a stain out, or how do I get pen ink off my shirt,
Yep.
Mom always chimed in with her tips and tricks. So we thought it would be kind of fun. We've talked about like cleaning routines and decluttering and some other like home things. I think we've done like bargain shopping and recipe. We've talked about like some tips and tricks in the kitchen, like grocery shopping and stuff.
Yep.
So I thought we'd just open it up to just all mom hacks and see where it takes us today. So I was actually literally like, I want to talk about this because I know you got goods that you can share. And I was like, I don't have any mom hacks. And then Amber reminded me that I do have, a couple of mom hacks, laundry tips. So I wanted to start off with one of y'all, though. Who wants to go first? What kind of like tip or trick or hack do you want to share?
Hacks and tips. Okay, I'll tell you one I learned recently. When I
You were this days old?
I was this many days old. No, yeah, it was actually a little while ago, but a friend sent this one to me. It was a video, like a TikTok or a reel or something. When I redecorated my living room, and I wanted a certain look with my curtains. So I have these white drapes, and they don't have a valance or any kind of cornice or any kind of topper on them. And I wanted them to have that really pretty wavy in and out drape to the curtains. Mm-hmm. And this tip that she sent me was how to make it do that and stay that way. And what it is you take toilet paper rolls or paper towel rolls and you cut them up into, 3-inch or 4-inch sections or however big each wave is. And you actually thread it onto the curtain or onto the curtain rod behind the curtain where the curtain is over this,
like the fabric is covering
is covering the rod. And so that little piece of toilet paper roll holds that wave in that formation and it just holds it there perfectly. And it won't scoot. The curtain doesn't scoot or move or anything. It's just perfect little waves. I loved that.
So you did that to
your curtains? Did that to my curtains in my living room.
You just had a bunch of toilet paper rolls?
Yeah, I just cut a bunch of toilet paper rolls and stuff on there.
Just had a bunch of empty toilet paper rolls.
No, I saved them.
Right. No, that's what I'm getting at. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, I knew we were in the middle of redecorating and she had shown me this tip. So I saved the toilet paper rolls.
You've had those curtains up a while. I thought you said it was the other day. I was like, when did you find time to
No, I don't know when it was.
Take the curtains down and like.
Well, yeah, I guess it's been a year or so, but
oh wow, time flies.
I know. Well, when you're the crone, everything was yesterday, right?
Yeah,
it really was. So
yesterday, all my memories seem so far away.
No, they don't. They seem like they were yesterday. But I just thought that was kind of a cool little hack to keep that. And I do learn little hacks like that. The internet is really good for for finding hacks, like stain removers and
some of them drive me crazy because I feel like they spend more time making like the hack than actually just
doing whatever it is.
living
Yeah.
with whatever problem that they have. Like, I'm going to take this balloon and I'm going to cut the balloon off and throw it away because it's a waste, and then use the rubber thing to hold on a spoon onto a pin to make my spoon long like a teaspoon. And I'm like,
Why
don't you just stir it and get your finger a little wet?
right?
You know,
Or
like
use
that
a
stuff
teaspoon or a straw.
Right, that stuff just drives me
Yeah,
crazy.
those aren't
like,
hacks. Those are stupid. They're
so straightforward.
they're not a hack. Well, and there's a lot of things. I hate the videos that they say that are you've been doing it all wrong and you're supposed to do it like this. And
Yeah,
it's like the
those.
yogurt, and they take the lid off the yogurt and make it into a spoon. You're not doing it wrong. That's just a way you can do it if you don't have a spoon. But you're not doing it wrong to eat it with a spoon. I'm sorry. It was designed to be eaten with a spoon. Semantics. It's semantics. But, you know, Amber is an English teacher. She understands what I'm talking about. Use the right words, people. Use the right words.
And who wants to be the weirdo that's licking the aluminum foil?
Right. Use a spoon.
Ew.
Use a spoon.
You don't
But
know
like-
where that aluminum
But there
foil
are
has
some
been.
great tips. Like with greasy stains, I found ways to, there's a tip where you can take like the Dawn dish soap and you scrub it in really hot water with the Dawn dish soap and rinse it out really good. And then I think you let it soak in the Dawn, like just sit with that Dawn dish soap and hot water for a long time, because the enzymes in the soap break up the oil and the grease or whatever. And then, you can rinse that out and it'll carry some of that grease away before you wash it in the washer. You do have to be careful with that, though, to rinse all that Dawn dish soap out of your clothes before you put it in your
Especially if you
front loading washer,
Yeah.
because it will not get all the soap out if you
Those
don't.
low water ones, yeah.
Oh yeah. But there are some really great tips about, using hairspray or glycerin to get ink out of fabric and different things. I have a laundry stain remover that I found on the internet a long time ago. And it's 2 recipes, and I'll actually share these. I don't use them as often anymore because I found the Grandma's brand stain remover is really effective.
That works on everything.
It'll even take blood out of clothing and stuff. So, but this one is for oily stains. It uses the dish soap. It's a tablespoon of dish soap, a tablespoon of glycerin, and 8 tablespoons of water. And you use it as a spray, like Shout or something. And you spray it and let it soak for 30 minutes. And then you launder it, and supposedly it takes things out. It's been a long time since I used this one, but like I said, I did find it on the internet a long time ago. And if it's a non-oily stain, you can use water, ammonia, and dish soap. And it's equal parts, and you spray that on. So the glycerin helps break up the oil, but you don't need the glycerin. You
Like,
use ammonia
isn't
instead.
dish soap glycerin?
It probably has glycerin. Well, I don't know. There may be some glycerin in the dish soap. I don't know, but I know when we made our handmade bubbles, for Girl Scouts or whatever, and we made bubbles to blow, we put glycerin in them because it changes the viscosity of the soap, so it makes the bubbles stronger if you do them that way.
But that's what the glycerin is soap, right? I guess I'm confused. But
Well, there is glycerin soap, which is a different thing. There's glycerin, like bar
so
soap.
just straight
but
up
this is
glycerin
liquid
is not
glycerin.
soap? That's not soap.
No,
Oh,
it's liquid glycerin. And it will dissolve ink in some inks. But you have to be careful too, because gel inks are different, and sometimes if you use the wrong kind of stain remover on a gel ink, it actually makes it set. Yeah. So there's the laundry hack right there. When in doubt, go buy the Grandma's. It's the awesome thing. grandma's, put it on, rub it a little bit, let it set. It takes everything out.
My mom's favorite
I put
thing
that beep on everything.
was the
Shout.
was the Tide pen.
Oh, Tide.
Oh, the Tide pen. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
actually had the Tide pen set stains on my shirts before too, depending on what they were. I think it has vinegar in it. I think.
It stinks.
Yeah, it smells. And it I think it was mustard. In fact, I think we were talking about that yesterday. My shirt, Amber was talking about her stain shirt, and I had the stain shirt that I had just bought, and I got a mustard based gravy on it. And I mean, that Tide pen just like set it in stone. It would not come out. It ruined the shirt. So
Man, I don't know. I haven't used a Tide pen in years, so
Yeah.
but that was my mom's go-to hack was
Yeah.
Tide pen.
I had when Kristen was younger, if you have things that are color fast, it's only color fast things. But it will pull, it pulled orange Marks a Lot out of a white chenille bedspread. I wonder who did that. Her eyes are rolling like, who, me? It's a cup of Cascade dishwashing powder, a cup of bleach, and it cannot be the splashless bleach. It has to be regular
Old-fashioned bleach.
old-fashioned bleach, and a gallon of water to every gallon of water, and you just put it in a bucket and mix it up. You know, if you have 2 gallons, you double it or whatever, you know. And you put the laundry item in there. It has to be color fast though, because it will bleach it all the way out if you don't. And you put the laundry in there, and I usually use like a chopstick or a wooden spoon was what I used to use to stir it, or a paint stir stick. And I would just put it in there and stir it every once in a while and just keep it moving for a day or two. Pull that thing out, and the stain would be gone every time. Yeah.
Good to know.
That was a trick from your Aunt Diane. It was a really good one. I used it a lot. What about, I know another cool laundry-related sort of mom hack. So, do you guys have problem with static in your hair?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In January, this is
Oh,
like
it gets so
I
dry,
want to
right?
just chop my
Right?
head off and throw it away.
You put your hair in a ponytail,
even
and
when
then
it's
like,
short like this.
it's
if
like
there's no
sticking to
product-
your face and sticking out like a electrified, right? So I learned this trick last year. Take a dryer sheet and
Just rub it all
keep it in your purse. I just keep one in my purse all the time.
and then you smell good.
Yeah, well, mine are unscented, but just rub your hair with the dryer sheet and it will make that static go away. That was awesome. That was a good one.
You can use dryer sheets for a lot of things.
They actually make really good scrubbing. Don't
Yeah.
ask me how, but I used one. Why is more not how, but why I used it to scrub my sink in my bathroom.
Oh gosh.
Because it gets kind of like toothpastey and blech, and yeah, but we have this stupid sink. It's like 6 feet wide and it's 1 inch deep. And
Oh,
it's
I
dumb.
hate
It takes up
those.
the whole counter, but it's really deep, and it's not really deep. I mean, it's really shallow, and it's really wide. So, like, if you spit your toothpaste,
It goes everywhere, but the water doesn't fill
the
it
water
up to
never
wash it.
gets
Yeah.
over to there, and it doesn't go down. Like, it doesn't have a slope in it, and so it gets really like gunky really quick. And I don't remember why, but I just like ran the
Dryer sheet.
dryer sheet under the sink, and then I used it to scrub the sink out, and it like polished it like really nice
Yeah,
Oh.
you can. Yeah, it's really
because
good
it's
for.
kind of abrasive, but not really.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
good for picking up spills. Also.
Oh yeah, a lot of
And
crafters use them.
Scrubbing on pans, even. Yeah.
Oh, I never
burnt
thought of that.
Areas on pans.
See, you know some mom tips. A lot of crafters use them to wipe up glitter because glitter's really staticky.
Oh, now I
and
never thought about that.
So, one of the tips that I learned a long time ago. So, if you're working with glitter, it's a multi-layered process. But they make some little trays, but you could use a tinfoil tray or a paper plate or whatever, and you put. I'm trying to remember the order because I haven't done it in a long time. I think it's a Swiffer duster or a Swiffer sheet, and then a dryer sheet, and then you put like a coffee filter on top of that. And so that's where you shake your glitter into the coffee filter onto your item or whatever, right? So the coffee filter catches the glitter. And then you move your item over or whatever. You take the coffee filter and you can pour it back into the bottle. Anything that got spilled out is trapped on the dryer sheet and the Swiffer. And so those things pick it up. You just wad them up, throw it away.
Nice.
I'm so stingy with my little Swiffer dusters. I wouldn't waste a Swiffer duster on that. Those little Swiffer sheets, like I have like the Swiffer duster stick that has like a little poof thing that goes.
Oh yeah,
on the
that's
end.
the
Oh,
duster.
I
I have
and then
that
I
one
have
too.
that.
the
I
sheets.
love it.
I got a big old box.
Oh
of
yeah,
sheets.
I use the sheets too.
And so like the Swiffer duster, like the the stick is great for just going around and dusting stuff. But when you need to like hand manually wipe something,
Oh yeah,
you got to use the little sheet.
The sheet.
So I'll take the little sheet and dust something, and if it's not just like gray like
yeah.
the air conditioner filter, then I'll just fold it up and stick it somewhere.
Oh, I will use the same
like
one for a while.
behind the TV
Yeah.
or something, and then next time I go to dust the TV, I'll be like, "Oh, look, there's a duster here for me."
You probably should not use those on your TV though.
well, like on the back and stuff. 'Cause
Oh, okay.
My
Yeah.
TV is bigger on the back side.
Oh yeah.
and
Oh
it
yeah.
gets really dusty
Because
back
you have a
there.
projector, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll just dust that. Like
Yeah.
I have to dust it all the time.
But that's one of the things a lot of people don't know is that you're not supposed to clean the front of your TV with any kind of Swiffer or Windex or anything like that because it can destroy the front of the
Right,
screen.
right.
You need to use a microfiber cloth
yeah.
and
No
only
liquids.
spot clean it. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, you can ruin one real quick using the wrong products on that. Have you ever used newspaper to clean glass?
Actually, yes, I have. That was another one of my mom's hacks and my grandma's.
We
Yeah.
used to use them to dry when we did car washes when I was in high school band. We used them to clean the windows of the car because they don't leave lint and they absorb a lot of liquid. And so you can spray the Windex on the window and use the wadded up newspaper to wipe the window instead of a paper towel or a rag, a shop rag or something. Because most of the time those things leave lint or it's streak.
And then you'll run out of shop rags pretty quick.
Right.
'cause-
Because they get wet and then they're dirty and then you can't use them. But the newspapers, old newspapers, you can save those up for. And I used to, when I had a newspaper subscription, I would save all of my newspapers in my cleaning closet. So when you wash your tennis shoes, if you put them in the dryer, it actually shrinks the upper part of your tennis shoe. But the sole does not shrink. So it makes the tennis shoe start peeling away from the sole of the shoe. So if you will just wash your tennis shoes and then stuff them as hard as you can with newspapers and then put them on top of the dryer, the heat from the dryer will help them dry and the newspaper inside them will help them keep their form and it absorbs the water in the shoe. And so your shoes will last longer. And I've dried my tennis shoes that way for years, and it makes them last so much longer. And that's another really good tip.
That,
Interesting.
now I need to go wash my tennis shoes. 'cause
Well, and you were talking about
my clogs.
your
I got
clogs,
this
yeah.
pair of clogs from Walmart years ago. I think I've had them like 3 years now. And they kind of look like Crocs, but they don't have holes in them. And they're fuzzy lined.
yeah,
And the fuzzy lining is like adhered to the shoe.
Yeah.
because I thought, oh, I'll just slip these out and wash them. But what ends up happening is you put them on, they kind of make your feet sweat. And then after a while, like, you put them on and your feet are great. But when you take your feet off, your feet stink.
Right.
And then the shoes kind of stink a lot. So, because bacteria and all that nasty stuff, growing in your shoe.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, I need to wash. I should just toss them in. But I was thinking, like, if I put them in the washer, I don't want to stick them in the dryer because they're just big rubber shoes
Yeah.
with a little bit of fur. And that fur stuff might shrink because it's like
Yeah.
polyester
Right.
fake stuff. So that's a good idea. I should stuff them with newspaper. That way they dry.
And when you
'Cause-
wash them with some Lysol. There's a Lysol laundry sanitizer that you can put in your wash load that will help remove the smell from your towels and stuff.
Oh, that's
And
that stuff that smells like a Band-Aid, doesn't
yeah,
it?
it kind of does. There's also another thing you can do that I learned for getting the smell out of your towels. Because sometimes, like if they get wet and they start to,
I can't.
yeah. So, if you wash them in hot water, so they have to be where you can wash them in hot water with 2 cups of vinegar, and the vinegar kills whatever
gosh.
mildew is in them.
The vinegar is my lifesaver.
Vinegar is awesome
I clean
cleaner.
everything
Yeah,
with vinegar.
especially with whenever I was having those mold problems.
Oh yeah,
at
yeah.
my old apartment, I washed everything. Well, I still do wash everything with vinegar.
And it's also a great way to get grease out of if your hair is greasy or whatever. Vinegar will help cut that. But yeah,
Apple
wash
cider
the towels.
vinegar especially.
Oh yeah, wash your towels in hot water with 2 cups of vinegar. So you could do your shoes that way, and then you wash them again with detergent, and that gets the vinegar, the acid out of it, and then stuff them with those newspapers, and like I said, that's what I used to do whenever we had, when I had a subscription. I would just save those newspapers until I needed them, and you can clean your mirrors with them, you can clean your windows with them, stuff your shoes with them. There's lots of uses for newspaper and vinegar. I wash my floors with vinegar, so
I make
what is it, a quarter cup of
house
vinegar
cleaner,
in a gallon of water, and it's a great
Yeah. So I've been doing distilled water and vinegar, and I wish I could remember which one I did. If it was like 2 cups of water and a cup of vinegar or something like that. I don't remember.
That's a pretty heavy dose of vinegar.
Yeah, it
in
is very heavy dose. And then I put a couple of drops of a citrus scented essential oils to kind of cut the smell. Like the smell doesn't bother me.
The smell doesn't.
Because the vinegar
dissipates really
after
fast
a while, and then so I have made it without the essential oil because I was just like, whatever, let's just get this going. And I've been using that as a cleaner. I'm gonna bust out my Mr. Clean every once in a while, or
some 409 or Windex or whatever.
I have like a Lysol spray, that's like for heavy duty, but just like cleaning off the counters after dinner. I'll go with like the dish soap water,
right,
and clean off the counters, but that has been after like dishes have been washed.
Right.
So then I'll go afterwards with like a clean paper towel and the vinegar spray to spray off the counters. And I've noticed
it's a natural disinfectant.
Yeah.
So.
And I've noticed that it actually cleans up a little bit more because the dishwater is kind of dingy.
Right.
And it's soapy water, but I just washed some dishes by hand, so it's not exactly clean. So it's nice to have like that. And the reason why you do the distilled water is because if you use like regular tap water, it's going to get kind of
water
stinky
spots.
or water spots. Yeah. So the distilled water works really good for that. So I always have distilled water in the house, and I always buy the big giant jug of vinegar. I mean, honestly, why spend $6 for a cleaner when you could get it for $1?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, because if you think about like a gallon of vinegar is like $1.79, something like that, that's cheap considering like how much you get.
Right.
And then, you can save a spray bottle from something else. Like, I challenge you, finish off your last bottle of whatever, save the spray bottle, make your own.
Right.
And it's also safe because if you spray the counter with it and then whoops, you accidentally get your chicken on it, it's not going to kill anybody. It's just going to be a little vinegary.
Right.
So I really liked that aspect of it too. And it's actually a pretty good cleaner.
Yeah.
So here's my hack. Not laundry, but vinegar hack. Take a bowl. And you want to clean your microwave. It's like really gross. 'Cause all the food
I know this one.
explodes in it. And you fill it with vinegar, like maybe like a cup or whatever. Pop it in the microwave. I microwave it for 5 minutes and see, the steam breaks up everything. And then, man, it also degreases a lot of stuff. And then you use the bowl of warm vinegar. Be careful not to like get your fingers in it if it's boiling hot. That's why I say only do like 5 minutes because it gets really hot.
Right.
But I use that vinegar water
with your sponge
with
and
my sponge to clean
and wipe out the microwave. Yeah, I've done that one as well.
It works really well.
Vinegar is also a great weed killer. You can put I can't remember if you have to I don't think you have to dilute it. But you might dilute it a little bit. But a lot of people used to use Roundup to kill weeds in their garden and stuff. But Roundup, you don't want to use it on any of your vegetables. And now there's like all these lawsuits against the makers of Roundup, because of cancer and stuff. A natural way to do it that's considered organic still is to kill those weeds with vinegar. Yeah, you just put white vinegar in a spray bottle and spray the weed, and it will kill the weed.
But does it kill other plants too?
It will kill whatever else you spray with it. Okay. Yes. So,
where are you spraying the weed with vinegar? Like where on the plant?
Like the leaves and stuff. You spray all the leaves. Yeah. Because it'll soak.
So you don't have to spray like the dirt or the roots?
No. Just the leaves of the plant. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So they actually make water hose things. Like if you had like a whole section that you wanted to kill, like if you were trying to eradicate a flower bed that got overgrown with weeds to just make it dirt, you could water it with vinegar on one of those water hose things. Yeah. It's like an attachment that you fill up with.
You would probably have to leave that fallow though after you do that for a while, because if you're just saturating that whole area with the vinegar, it's going to saturate the earth as well.
Oh, right.
Because when you're just killing a plant, you're just spraying the plant, not the dirt, not the whole bed. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you could do that. You could do that.
I mean, I'm not saying like water the bed. I mean, just hosing it off the top. Because they make mister things.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. I'm not really in the business of killing plants. So
well, I mean, a lot of people, people have gardens and things, and that's a way to kill them in your garden.
Gardening, so plants. And this one I have never tried, but whenever I used to live with Crystal, my old roommate, we had grubs in our yard.
Oh, yes.
So many. They're so gross. We put like all kinds of grub poison. But I was reading that if you wanted to protect your like plants and stuff, you take eggshells and crunch them up and put them in like the flower bed because the grubs won't want to crawl on the eggshells.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And that'll keep them from trying to crawl across the ground onto your eggshells. I'm like, how does that keep them from not just going underneath? But I don't know, whatever.
I don't know either. Maybe you mix it in with the earth.
No telling. I don't know. Look it up.
Yeah. Don't know. Let's see. I don't have any good tips for grubs or eggshells. Oh, I do have a good tip for perfectly peeling your eggs and perfectly boiled eggs, though. Mm-hmm. So you put your eggs in a little saucepan and with just enough water to cover them, and you add a teaspoon of baking soda, another miracle product in the,
Oh,
from
I
the
was
kitchen.
about to say there's all
Baking
kinds
soda.
of
There's
baking
all kinds of
soda.
things to do with baking soda. Look it up. You could use it for deodorant and, like talcum powder. You could use it to kill odors in your carpets and soak up stains and all kinds of stuff. But in this one, you're putting a teaspoon in your water, barely covering the eggs with the water, and put them on the burner on high heat for 20 minutes exactly. And while that's heating up, you set up a big bowl with some ice water in it, and it has to be like icy water. When the 20 minutes is up, you drain the water off the eggs, put the eggs in the ice water bath, and let them cool. And when they are cooled, you can roll those eggs on the counter, and the eggshell will just crackle, and you can just peel it off underwater. It just comes off in big sheets. It is the most perfect thing, and they are perfectly cooked every time. I love that trick. When I learned that made all my holidays so much easier, because I could make a whole bunch of deviled eggs, and I wasn't like tearing up the eggs trying to get them peeled. Yeah, it was really cool.
I have a tip. So this is just from experience and, doing all the meal prepping. If you've listened, for the past couple years, that's something that Travis and I do is we meal prep and plan out our meals ahead of time and, not necessarily bargain buy, but we try to be really particular about our groceries and stuff. And, as you know, bigger is oftentimes cheaper when you buy in bulk.
When you buy in bulk, yep.
So my tip is a food saver.
Oh, those mine.
That is the
I
best
love
hack I've
mine.
ever had. And I'm sure I've probably already talked about it 15 times on the podcast. I'm pretty sure we have. But my tip is to always buy extra. So when you think about the recipe calls for a pound of ground beef, it's always a quarter of a pound, whatever. If you save that little piece of meat, instead of just adding it in, you could just store it aside, put it in your freezer, and then you always have
4 times. After you do that 4 times, you've got another pound of meat, right?
And no one's gonna miss it,
right? Because your recipe called for a pound, not a pound and a quarter,
right? And a quarter or a pound is 1 serving, in some cases,
right?
So. Once you cook ground beef down, depending on the quality of ground beef or turkey that you get. So, same thing with chicken and stuff like that. I always look to see how many pieces are in the package, how many pieces we're going to eat. I always cut down my chicken breasts into 4 ounces. So I cut them into fourths. So butterfly the breast and then cut those in half. So they're smaller pieces. That way, if someone wants 2 pieces, that's fine. They're going to get plenty of chicken. If they want 3 pieces or 4 pieces, whatever, you get a whole chicken breast. But that way, because I noticed Raina is not going to eat a whole chicken breast, because these chicken breasts these days are so big and
genetically modified or whatever. Yeah.
So I'm don't give her that whole thing. And they also don't cook very evenly.
They're
they
don't.
Rubbery
Yeah,
on one end and raw in the middle.
Yeah, because they're thicker.
So I always cut them down so they're all the same thickness and about the same size. They always come out to about a quarter pound. And so I will divvy up, for the meals and put them in the food saver. Even if I'm not going to freeze it, I'll still put them in those individual bags. And the reason why is because those foam things that come in the grocery store, the chicken one always leaks. It's vacuum sealed, but it's sticky and gross.
Ugh, yeah.
And the way your refrigerator is set up is always the vegetables are underneath the shelves, and you can ruin your vegetables by having that chicken
drip in there,
drip down in there. So I always put my meat in this plastic Tupperware, and that it doesn't have a lid. I don't even know where the lid went, but it's
it's a shallow pan.
Yeah, it's like a casserole dish size Tupperware. And then we put them in the little bags. And then whatever we're not eating that week, we toss in the freezer. And we have lots of little individual baggies of meat. And then if push ever comes to shove, we can just go dig from there.
Right.
So you come back from your weekend and you forgot to get your grocery order on time, or you just need an extra day before you're ready to do your grocery planning, or you had an extra person show up for dinner, you can just pull extra piece of meat out or whatever to make more. So that's my tip, because there's always that little bit of extra. It's cheaper.
Right, right. I love my food saver. I used to actually before I got my food saver, several years ago, I think Ziploc came up with one, and Reynolds company that makes the foil, came up with some different vacuum bags. They're like Ziploc vacuum bags, and they had like a little handheld vacuum. One of them's a pump vacuum. That one's the one I take with me when I travel. If I need to reseal a bag, I'll take those Ziploc food saver bags, and then I can take that little pump bag and it'll suck the, it's not motorized or anything. And you can take it camping with you, pack your meat up or whatever, and suck the air back out of the bag again. And those things are wonderful for all kinds of stuff. And you can use those bags to sous vide eggs or whatever, different things. So we'll sometimes put a single serving of a meat, like a piece of meatloaf or a piece of roast with some gravy or something, in one of those Ziploc zipper food saver bags, suck all the air out, freeze it. Well, you've got like a almost ready-made TV dinner there, because you just put that in a pot of boiling water and heat it up.
Yeah, technically you don't need that sous vide machine. Those are so expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just do it in the boiling bag, and heats it back up perfectly. And that's a great way to eat those leftovers.
We did that with brisket.
Oh, yeah.
I had this big chunk of brisket left over, but it had already been kind of like shredded up a little bit, and it was so juicy. And I just know if I had put it in the microwave, it would have
dried it out.
Yeah,
it does. It changes the consistency of the meat.
It was like I had just pulled it out of the oven. It was perfect. Yeah.
Another tip I have, I'm going completely off base here, but I just happened to look over at Kristen sitting by my fireplace, and I have a little basket of wood, of logs there. And I also have stuffed in it are some paper towels that have wax on them. So Kristen sells Scentsy, and I have a bunch of Scentsy wax warmers in the house. And whenever I change the fragrance, I take a paper towel and soak up all of the. You could do a cotton ball as well, but I like the paper towels better. I'll soak up all of the wax out of the warmer and clean the warmer with that paper towel, and then I just kind of wad it up and put it in with my logs, and it makes a great fire starter when I light my fireplace. And sometimes there's a little scent in there, so it makes it kind of a nice scent as well.
Because it's coated with wax, it takes a little bit longer for it to
burn,
burn off, so it doesn't burn too quickly in order to catch the wood on fire.
Right. Yeah, it makes a great fire starter. So
I wish we had a fireplace.
Yeah, I like having my fireplace. I do.
Y'all don't have a fireplace in y'all's house either, huh?
No, we don't.
That's weird, because most of the houses out here have fireplaces, but
I had one in my apartment.
I know, yeah.
And it hardly ever gets cold enough to have a fire here.
Right? My friend's husband is from Pennsylvania, and when they moved back here to Texas, it made him mad. He insisted that they find a house that didn't have a fireplace because you don't need one. It's a waste of space, which I can agree. Sometimes it feels like, because then you can't put furniture there and stuff.
Right.
And he's like, why do all of the apartment complexes have fireplaces? Y'all have central heating.
Well, and it's kind of weird too. I know this is totally off topic, but it's like in an apartment, that's really a fire hazard, because most people don't know how to operate a fireplace correctly out here.
The dryer.
Ooh.
Okay, here's your hack. You don't want your house to burn down. Take the lint out of your dryer every
Oh
time
my
you
gosh.
do your,
Yeah.
because that is like one of the biggest fire hazards.
And once and you know, every once in a while I'll go through and clean that hose too,
Right.
because
so
the
that's
lint
the
catches
one that
in the
was
hose.
making me
Yeah.
think that, because most people don't know that they need to maintain that
Yeah.
on their house
Yeah.
or their apartment.
Right.
You got to go in there with like a snake
Yeah.
to
and get those
get the lint
the
out.
lint out, because it will catch your house on fire, or it can catch your house
Very
on fire.
flammable. So that's a camping hack.
Yeah, it is.
I learned that from another scout, and I was like, "What the heck is she putting in the fire?" It looked like dog hair or something.
Yeah.
And she had a giant bag of laundry lint. Mm-hmm. And so Travis and I have been saving laundry. We have too many bags now because we haven't gone camping in a while. But we have like the gallon size zipper bags. We have like several of them full of dryer lint, which you know also has some dog hair in it, like a lot.
Yeah.
But that's really good fire starter.
Yeah. Yeah. You put it in like a muffin tin with some wax.
Oh, we
or...
didn't even do that. We were
Oh,
just
you're just
peeling
using
it
the
out
straight
like
up
cotton
wax. Oh,
candy
okay.
and sticking it in the
Oh,
fire.
that's a
yeah.
good idea. Yeah.
It burns really well. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I probably have a ton of camping hacks for people, but I'm just like, I can't think of them right now.
Right. Well, we already kind of did camping hacks. Didn't we have an episode on that?
Did we?
We did,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay.
Camping
Yeah.
cooking hacks. And
Oh,
Camping
okay.
cooking. Yeah. Yeah. There is one kind of cool camping hack that we learned in Girl Scouts, and it's to take like a gallon milk jug and you fill it up with water, and you poke a hole somewhere down at the bottom, like at the bottom of the handle, or not the bottom of the handle, but
bottom of the jug.
the bottom of the jug where you use the handle to hang the jug in your tree or off your clothesline or whatever, and you poke this hole down at the bottom, and you put like a golf tee in it to plug it up, right? And then off of the handle, you're going to take an old pair of pantyhose, put a bar of soap in it, and tie that pair of pantyhose to the handle, and you have an instant wash station. So you pull the plug out, the little
Golf team.
golf tee out, and then you've got a little trickle of water, and you've got the soap, and you wash your hands, and you rinse your hands, and you put the tea back in, and there you go. And that's a great little way to do without wasting water at the spigot, because a lot of times where the spigots are
The
located,
high pressure.
yeah, well, it's high pressure and the water goes everywhere, and then you're flooding your
Your
campsite.
shoes get wet.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so this is a great way to do it, and it's easy enough that kids can wash their own hands that way as well, if you get it down where they
And
can
then
reach
it
it.
also encourages hand washing while you're camping too.
Right. That is true.
We did that at summer camp
Yep.
and at campfire camp.
Works pretty well. Yep.
So Amber, what do you do with your cats to help like
Oh, yeah,
eliminate
that's a
cat
good
hair
one.
and stuff?
Eliminate cat hair? What is that?
Right.
Do you have any cat care tips or tricks or
Cat hair care tips?
cat hair care?
or
I
dog?
like to keep the dander down. You can get, well, this isn't really like I mean, it's a cat hair care tip. Like I'm sure a lot of pet owners don't know about this, but you can get like the instead of giving your cat a bath, which every time I think about giving a cat a bath, I remember
That's
when
scary.
Kristen tried to give her cat
I always
Davy a
gave
bath.
all my cats baths.
And I remember just like we had these two twin cats, and she took them into the bathroom, and she's like, "I'm going to give them a bath," and all I heard was, and I'm just like, "Okay, I'm not going into the bathroom." But they make these like a cat wipes thing that you can rub cats down to keep the dander down and keep the hair down. So that's definitely like one tip and trick I have, is to wipe down your cats to keep the
cool.
dander down.
Yeah. And they like that a lot better than a bath.
Yeah, they like
Yeah.
it a lot better than a bath, even though you still have to chase them sometimes.
You know what
This-
you do? You put them in the bathroom. Do your cats come visit you while you're on the toilet?
Yes.
So I have a dog that always visits me on the toilet, so that's when she gets her hair brushed.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
as soon as I
She'll-
sit down, she's there. And I'm one of those weird people that goes to the bathroom with the door open. So she comes running and she's like, "Oh, you're on the toilet." And now that's like our thing.
Yeah.
Get your hair brushed, like 5 times a day. It gets done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot better for her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because some dogs need that extra grooming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a cat that needs that extra grooming, and yeah, he gets pretty hairy.
Yeah.
And the wipes really work on him, which is
That's
nice.
cool.
So, I don't know, like we use a lot of lint rollers around
Mhm.
to get things down. I clean everything with vinegar pretty much, and I use vinegar in the wash all the time, especially Jason's like stinky work clothes
yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah. How did both of our husbands have stinky work clothes?
Just
They
they're
work with
sweaty
food.
guys and they work
Yeah.
with food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a tip that speaking of people who work with food, my niece Ashley, who works for Walmart, brought home a tip for one of her coworkers the other day, and it supposedly is a way to keep bugs from crossing your threshold, and or like if you have problems with ants or spiders coming in through the cracks in your doors and stuff. So you take a cotton ball and you put peppermint oil on it, and you leave that somewhere in the windowsill or whatever. And supposedly
Yeah.
it keeps the
It keeps the spiders away.
Yeah.
Like I do that because we get some pretty bad black widows on our
Oh.
porch. So I have like little peppermint oil tucked on different places on the porch to keep the black widows away.
Interesting.
Jason's
I
definitely
actually
afraid of spiders.
I am too. I actually tried it, and I haven't had it there long enough to know if it makes a difference or not. But I do have some in here, and it actually made the house smell really good.
yes.
That's such a good smell.
ant hack is also cinnamon,
Oh,
like cinnamon spray
uh-huh.
or cinnamon oil, and then I would also buy this stuff from the store that was like cinnamon concentrate ant bug spray. And I had such a bad ant problem when I lived in Denton. It was insane. Like I was like killing ants all the time.
Yeah. I have bad problems with ants here. Every time it rains, I swear, I think they live somewhere really close, and they're just like every time it rains, there they are in my kitchen every time. And we've had Terminex for years come out and spray, and we still get them. They do all these treatments and everything. So I've got the peppermint oil. I may have to try that cinnamon and see if that keeps them. It's usually in the spring when it gets really rainy, but they'll just every time it rains, I will have spiders coming in not spiders, ants coming in my window. I have spiders too.
I remember when you put that out. I don't remember if it was like that day or whatever, but I remember coming over to your house and I was just like,
What does that
smells
smell?
so good in here. Did you
It's
clean
a
something?
It's a
Yeah.
clean smell. Yeah.
Vinegar
Yeah.
works on ants too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
vinegar is another good one for ants.
Vinegar. I love vinegar. Vinegar, baking soda, those two things, and ammonia. Ammonia is another really good cleaning product.
Oh, you used to do the floors with that, didn't
I
you?
used to clean the floors with ammonia because it'll break up the greasy, grungy stuff that,
Yeah,
especially like
I've
on your
done
no
that,
wax
too.
floors and stuff. I had my mother taught me a trick with like pans and like if you have an electric burner or a gas burner even stove, and they have the little grease pans underneath them. Sometimes they get like really
the catch, that silver catch.
Yeah.
yes,
those
and they
are
get really
nasty.
gunked up really bad. And so or maybe you've got a casserole pan that got something baked onto it or whatever. So you can put ammonia in a pan or in the either the little drip pans or in the casserole dish or whatever, and put it in a garbage bag and close it up and leave it overnight. And when you come back out the next morning, a lot of times that stuff will just wipe off. It's crazy. Like we're talking the burnt on stuff.
Ammonia makes me think of.
Now it's stinky. You know, you don't want to inhale it, but what does it make you think of? So, funny thing happened on the way to the podcast. Sorry, I had to steal that from Amber a minute ago. We had to pause for a moment there because we had a crazy thing happen. There was a wasp in the room, and I swatted the wasp off the ceiling fan, and with the intention of knocking him down. I didn't know it was a wasp.
We thought he was a
beetle. It was kind of hard to see him up there, and I swatted him down, hoping to just knock him down and kill him with the fly swatter. But he started flying around the room, and he landed on Amber's iced coffee straw, and so everybody's like running, because and it turns out it's a wasp, and everybody's running away from the wasp because it's flying around the room, and then it lights on the straw, and I wasn't quite sure how to get rid of the. This is a great mom tip here. So I wasn't quite sure how to get rid of this thing because I didn't want to spray it with the wasp poison or anything because it was her coffee,
And
it's
in
like
your
sitting-
craft room too.
Yeah,
in my craft room, so-
and next to my computer
Food
and her
and
computer
everything
and
else, so-
Kristen's computer. And
So I went and grabbed a glass out of the bar and just went straight over the top of the straw onto the glass, onto her coffee thing, and trapped it on the straw and carried it outside and then removed the glass and walked away thinking, okay, it'll fly away, but I think it's a little too cold for it.
yeah,
for
it
the
didn't
spot.
want to go anywhere.
And it so it was just hanging out on the straw because it's cold, and so I was like, okay, how are we gonna get rid of this? So we had been talking about the vinegar just a few minutes ago, so I went and I had a big old turkey syringe thing, that we inject our turkeys with at Thanksgiving, and I filled it up with vinegar and stood at the door with just the syringe sticking out the door. This is a pretty Krista got some video. Maybe you should post that.
Well, I'm going to post this. Count on it.
So I'm standing there with this turkey syringe, and I shoot from a distance. I shoot this wasp, and I missed a couple of times, and I had to go refill the. Well, I hit it once, but it didn't. It just kind of made it go around the straw a little bit. So I had to go refill the syringe with more vinegar. I come back out, and I'm shooting the thing with the vinegar, and he finally falls off the glass. I grab the glass, run in, shut the door. Right? So now we tested the vinegar. The vinegar worked. It knocked it off, and he is walking around drunkenly because all he can smell
Is vinegar.
is vinegar.
Yeah.
And this, so we did finally kill the, wasp and put him out of his misery, but the vinegar worked pretty well. So, maybe not quite the way we talked about using the vinegar, but yeah, that was a good tip. Thanks for telling us about bugs and vinegar. There we go.
Well, I mean, vinegar works for everything,
It
right?
works for a lot of stuff. So, like I said, there's a lot of those miracle kind of things. And, we talked about I think I was in the middle of talking about putting or maybe I finished, I don't know, the ammonia in the pans and watching the
yeah,
stuff
yeah, that's what you
come
were
right
talking
off.
about.
Yeah, it'll come right off. So there's a lot of those kind of things like that work really, really
I got a
well.
good one for pests. So my car, I had just gotten this Hyundai Sonata, and it was like my baby, and I took it in to get its first maintenance, and they were like, "Oh wow, ma'am, you need to come look at your cabin air filter." And I was like, "Okay." I mean, it's brand new. It was full of rat poopies.
Oh
Yes, and I'm like, how did I not smell that? But they're not like odoriferous like dog poopies. So I'm like, holy moly. So they were like, yeah, there's clearly some rodent evidence in your car because there was nests and stuff under my hood.
Oh.
I don't
my
look
gosh.
at that stuff. I don't
Right.
even know these cars now are just like a plastic box, and
Oh yeah,
there's
you
no,
can't
like,
see up under that.
you can't see
anymore.
any
Yeah.
hoses.
They don't
or
want you
anything.
working on them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, what? So they were like, well, we're going to do this. And they cleaned it out for me. And he said, they're just going to turn right back around and
they'll eat the wiring out of your car,
which
or they'll use
actually
it for nesting or
happened
something.
to my husband's car. But this was before, and I only did it this one time, but it worked. It was fox urine. He recommended getting fox urine because they're the predators for rats and stuff. And so he said, you just take, you can get it at like Cabela's or wherever.
For hunting and stuff, yeah.
And then you just put some drops under your hood,
Does it make your car stink?
No. No, I didn't put it on like the motor where it gets hot so
Right.
it like melts and smokes.
Right.
I just put it like around the where the jam is, where the hood goes down, and then I put some like around the because I was
In the
parking
places where they climb
in
up
front
or
of the garage, so I was putting it like around on the concrete around my car.
Oh yeah.
So that they were just like, ugh, and
Yeah.
it deters
Yeah.
them. They don't want it because they go, okay, a fox lives there, so we don't want to make a house there because they'll eat us.
right.
And so they just go somewhere else.
Right. I've heard that before. Not just them, but squirrels as well. You can use that to get rid of squirrels.
Yeah, basically any kind of rodent of that size.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, don't use the no-kill rat traps though. The sticky traps.
Yeah, those.
we had a
seems nice, but it's not nice.
No, well, yeah, it's we had 1 year. This probably been 20
It
years.
was like a
years ago.
mass exodus in our town of
There was
rats.
Well, it wasn't an exodus; they all moved in.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were in the middle of a drought, and all the rats moved. They were just like roaming
They were
everywhere.
exodus from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to put. We had a dog at the time. I didn't want to put a regular rat trap out because I didn't want the dog to stick her face in trying to get
The food.
the food out of the trap because she was that kind of dog, and getting her nose broken.
Whoa.
I know, right? And so I thought, I'll buy these humane. They're called humane rat traps, and they're like a sticky thing, like a kind of like a fly trap, but stickier and bigger, and like fly paper. And so I
stepped in
stuck
one
it
one
out
time
where
and
I
couldn't
knew
get
that
it
this
off.
rat was hanging out. And sure enough, my husband got up the next morning, and he heard some weird noises or whatever, and he looks, and this huge rat, is stuck to this rat trap, and it's the size of
Ice cube tray.
yeah, like an ice cube tray size, and so it's stuck on there. And my husband's like, "Oh, what do I do with it now?" Because the rat's still alive, but the
Yeah.
rat is stuck to it. If I reach over there and grab it, the rat's gonna bite me. And our dog, we had this crazy dog. She was just sitting there looking, and it's like, "Oh, it's you." She did not care about that rat one bit. And so my husband got the broom and pushed the rat down into the sticky.
No.
So he was even more firmly stuck. And he went and got I think the shovel or something, and picked it up with the shovel and carried it to the dumpster and put him in the dumpster. So he's probably living happily. Well, he's probably dead now. That was 20 years ago. But he probably lived out his life very happily at the dump after that. So,
Stuck to the sticky thing.
well, he probably,
You
could get that off.
want to hope that he's still stuck to it or that he got off of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it seems like they would starve to death. I don't know.
Yeah.
Those seem inhumane.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't know.
very. No,
I
those.
I
are,
don't ever want to. I mean, what do you do with it? How do you pick it up? How
All
my
ways
husband did
are
the
inhumane because you have to kill them to eliminate
Yeah,
them.
like they're talking about no kill, but like probably trying to get it off of that thing, it'd kill it.
Yeah,
Like,
rip its skin off or
I
rip all
got-
its fur
I
out.
Break
stepped
its
on
toes,
one time, and I could barely get it off my shoe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like those things are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it was preferable to having a rat living in my house. So
or a bunch of poison.
or a
like,
bunch of
laying around
poison.
where your
I didn't want my
toddler-
dog or my toddler to get the poison. I didn't want the trap to hurt the toddler
Somebody.
or the poison.
I'm scared of
Or the-
those traps. I've had to.
Oh, I don't even like mouse traps because
No,
I've heard
I'm
I've heard about
terrified that they're
people
gonna get
getting their
me.
finger chopped off with them.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Oh,
it'll
man.
decapitate a mouse, what's it going to do to your finger?
Yeah.
So no, I don't want to do that.
Ugh. Okay.
No.
Next.
Okay. What else is do we have any more tips? We probably got a ton more tips, but
I'm
we've
sure.
probably rambled on enough and
We've,
enough and enough. We talked about a lot of laundry tips and some mom tips.
We want to hear our tips from our listeners.
Yeah, do you have any good tips, like cleaning tips or things to preserve things in your house, or storage tips, or
Gosh, I'd love those storage
I
tips,
know.
like-
How do you make more room for more stuff? Right? I have a friend who keeps they keep their batteries in their freezer because supposedly it makes them last longer.
What?
Yeah.
Huh.
At that cold
That's
weather.
interesting. I
don't
got
know.
mine out in the garage where they get to like 150 degrees.
I don't think that
Mine are not
makes
in
them
the
last longer.
I don't know.
I don't know. You put your credit cards in the freezer and they last a lot longer.
Ah,
Yeah,
You forget
especially if you
about
don't
'em.
take them to the store.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Kristen, if this was your baby, where are you going with it now?
Oh, I mean, you guys showed up with some winners. I'm looking. I wrote down your Lysol laundry, so I'm gonna wash my stinky shoes with 2 cups of vinegar and hot water, and then I'm gonna wash them again with detergent, and then I'm gonna stuff them with newspapers. I actually
you
have
go.
like 3 pairs of shoes that I want to do that with, so I'm probably gonna. I don't know. Should I wash them all at one time, or would
Wouldn't
that
hurt
be
it.
okay?
just
So-
in the washer. Just wash them in the washer.
Yeah, wash them in the washer.
I'm gonna do that.
I mean,
with
if they're
Jason's
that
shoes.
kind of shoe,
Should I put like a towel or something in there so they're not just banging around?
yeah, that could probably help. I usually washed mine with the towels or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And I would only wash washable kinds of shoes like sneakers, Crocs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some flip flops that.
Your flip flops. You can do well. It depends. If there's any leather on the shoes, you cannot wash them. If
Oh no,
there's
they're all plastic.
if there's any leather on it and they stink, it's in the leather. You're probably not. I don't know. Maybe you're not going to get the smell out. I don't know. There
leather
are probably
cleaner.
other ways to remove that smell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know them, but you can wash any of those like lined house shoes, those kind of things, with the rubber soles. Any of those can go through the washer. I just wash them with the towels and use some laundry sanitizer. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I guess we can wrap up this episode. Definitely hit us up on MMC chat and leave us a comment on what your hack is that you'd like to share. What do we have next week?
Next week, we are talking about date night ideas. And
All right.
we're kind of heading into that Valentine's season or whatever. If you have, and I know not everybody does Valentine's and all that, but it's still good, even if you've been together for a long time, to have those date nights. And I think they're important to a good marriage. And so we're going to talk about some things that you can do for date night. And I think we'll have some great ideas, because I know that Amber and Jason have a whole list of date night bucket list. So
Yeah, so I'm going to be stealing off of your list.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can just photocopy it for me.
yeah,
All right.
Okay.
Well, we want to thank Cake Mix Studios and Creative Audio Tech for our equipment and our music. And of
Yes,
course,
we
we'd
do.
like to thank our loyal listeners. And I think we're up on like 5,000 downloads already. So
I
that's
think we're-
so
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Or maybe we passed it already, I'm sure. But we would love for you to give us a good rating, and share the feed with your friends. This is our 4th season now. And we've seen, that it seems like there's some episodes that you guys are really enjoying downloading and commenting on. We've gotten some really good feedback, from some of our loyal listeners that happen to have like our text phone numbers, but let us know in a review We just have like one review on Apple. Well, we have a few like star reviews, but only one feedback. And it would be so cool if we just had like a couple more.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to see us get to like 10 or 20 or something
that would
like
be
that.
like
Yeah.
that would be my dream for this year, to just see some more traction, because whenever people leave comments, then it shows that we're active, and someone who might be browsing and considering listening, to know that, yes, we post episode every Wednesday. And because so many times people will start a podcast and then it just kind of disappears.
Yeah.
And we're still here. So come check us out. Come check out the blogs. Amber and Cindy always be putting out little blogs for you guys.
Or at least Cindy does.
I know, right? So I'm hopping back in it this year with other things that I'm pausing. So, be on the lookout for more blog posts from us this year. Now that, the world is kind of like slowing down for all of us. And
We'll get that wedding out of the way.
right?
Oh my God.
Right. And then we do have some other great episodes coming up. So the date night, so we're going to talk about National Inventors Day. What is the thing you are most scared to do? Read Across America. And we're going to talk about a movie that we've been waiting for Cindy to watch for almost 30 years. That she's had on her bucket list to watch.
It is. You know what? It is on my bucket list, and I forgot about that when we did the bucket list.
Yep. So we'll be discussing that movie coming up soon. So really looking forward to those topics. But once again, just wanted to thank you all, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.